So I am gonna grab my foam roller, and I thought it would be fun to start today by using it as a massage tool and start just sort of having it horizontal. Did I say that right? Horizontal to your body and spine. And so you want to start maybe just at the very top of your low back, like just kind of below your rib cages. And what I tend to do is I'll come up on it and I hang on to my hands back here, and I'm just going to start to roll through my spine. And so just sort of take your time. I'll move up in the screen a little bit. Take your time. Use, keep your weight into your legs and support your head, but just start to roll up the length of your spine so that you can feel sort of the massage to those, we have like hills and valleys in our spine, and start to massage the hills of those muscles on either side of your spinal column. And if you get to a spot that feels particularly like tight or a little tender, gently just kind of stay through that area and see if you can just sort of go back and forth over the roller and warm your way up. So keep your feet in close enough to you that you feel like, if you're holding through here, you don't want to feel like you're too arched over the roller, but see if you can just sort of roll through your back here just a little bit. And then if you do find that sort of stiff spot, then you can sort of like lean back on the roller just a little bit, almost like you want to arch your way into the shape of a rainbow over the roller. And you can kind of feel like if there's one segment or a couple segments, you can stop and lean back and take a couple breaths there, and then get to the next segment and stop and lean back. But it's a good idea to keep your head supported. And you're only going to go up to the shoulder blades. You don't want to foam roll your spine above the level of like the tops of your shoulder blades and get into your neck there, because it's just a little too fragile for you to put that kind of body weight through that sort of stiff surface of the roller. So let's just take another maybe minute here and just work through those hills and valleys of our backs. For me, it's typically that area between the shoulder blades where I feel particularly sort of stiff, and so usually I'll just kind of get there and hang out, not trying to push too hard into anything. And I would just say with any of this, especially as you go through your body, it's sort of a less is more sort of thing, in that, do a little and then like let it go. And then maybe come back and do a little the next day, as opposed to trying to, make real big changes in one chance. Good. So I'll usually just start right through my spine here. And then once I've done a little bit of that, I like to get up onto the roller and sit up onto it. And then we get into the good stuff. And so you have your sit bones on top of your roller here. And let's just say, for reference sake, we'll go right ankle over left knee. And then I lean into my right cheek here. So I have one hand on the floor, and I just sort of shift my weight over to the center of my cheek and sort of roll right back over and forth over there. And by having this knee crisscrossed over the opposite knee or the foot, it opens up that right hip so that you can get into like those really sort of sensitive, tender rotators in your hips that we all know get sore when we sit or drive too long. So we're gonna roll into those. You may even kind of get right up against the edge of your tailbone or your sacrum and feel yourself sort of glide along the edge of that triangular shaped bone. And then as you shift your weight out a little bit, you can get into some of those bigger, fuller muscles into the cheek. So just kind of go back and forth over here. So let's just continue down that leg. And what I like to do is come forward now with my two hands, and I'll have this top foot out in front here. And I don't usually, a lot of people like to ride like the seam in their pants and their IT band there. I don't usually like to ride right on top of it because it's kind of tender and stringy feeling. So I go right behind it. And so I stay on like softer surfaces. And you know, everybody has differing opinions, but my feeling is if I stay on the muscle as it kind of connects to that more tender type band, I tend to feel better and can do more here. Whereas if I go right over it, it really hurts. So I'll go just behind the bands from the top of my hip bone here. You know, we just rolled off that hip, roll it all the way down nice and slowly. Again, if you find spots that feel a little tender, put some more weight into your hands or your foot and take some of the pressure off of the body against the roller. And then I'll roll a little forward of the band, so I may walk my feet around a little bit. And now I'm going to roll the muscles just in front of the seam of my pants. So when I was behind it, I was more on the hamstrings. And now as I come in front of it, I'm a little bit more onto my quads here. And these muscles, as they attach into that band, tend to get tight because sometimes we hang out on those outer edges of our legs and tend to overuse whether it's front or back muscles. Just depends on your habits and activities. Good. So from there, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to put that knee down and I'm going to come all the way onto my forearms here. So now I have a little more weight through my hands and my knee, but I'm going to keep rolling across now the very front of my quads. So we'll just work through the quads here and just think about this concept of staying on soft things, kind of coming up into it gently. And you don't necessarily even need to know the direction that the muscles run. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but with this, you're sort of following the length of the lines of your bones. So you're sort of safe going up and down. You can even come up now a little higher and go right across where your hip attaches. You can see it better on this side, attaches into your torso. Bring it right across that hip crest and that hip crease, as it comes almost into your abdominals. Because believe it or not, you can roll your stomach out too. Those muscles can get tight, especially from sitting and being forward. So let's go ahead and get our whole body now, both creases of our hips on top of the roller, and roll across the two hip creases. So now you have tips of toes on the floor, forearms down. So you're in a sensitive area, maybe a little bit more tender or a little bit more bony. So take more weight off of your hands, of your hips through your hands and your feet and just roll back and forth. It's literally that area that attaches your legs to your trunk. And so we can continue up here and just roll that lower area just below your rib cage between your belly button and pubic bone. And you can either stay on tiptoes or you can even get to your knees here. I think it's a little easier from your tiptoes to rock. But just across that whole front portion of your body here, and just staying in the soft areas. And I think sometimes we focus so much on the legs and the lower body with this stuff, but the stomach can really use, in the abdominals, some lengthening and some release too. So we'll roll across. We're gonna just kind of work our way now onto, so I was working the right leg the whole time, so now I'm gonna come onto the front of my left leg, and I'm starting now to work into the quads again. So I have one foot up, and I'm coming back and forth across the front of my quads. And I'm gonna give myself, I'm gonna turn my back to you guys a little bit. I'm gonna give myself a little spin here and start working now that whole front portion just in front of the seam of your pants to release that out. And then you can continue to pivot around as you work through your leg. And now we're on to the seam of our left leg and working just into hands. You've got this opposite foot here to support. These tend to be pretty tender for me, so I use a lot of weight through my two hands and my foot, my 3 points on the floor to take some of the pressure off. And then we slowly sort of work around, and we're almost back now to being into our left cheek. So you're going to come up onto the dome of the roller, cross your left foot over your right knee, and now we've done like a full circle around our hips and abdomen. Lean into that left cheek with your left hand on the floor and work into those rotators and your gluteus maximus muscle. You can even come up a little higher towards your low back and that hip crest and work those hip stabilizers that sit up high. So just work here, maybe take another minute. And truth be told, you can really work any soft part of your body. So you can go through your lats and your arms and into your underarm. We didn't hit our inner thighs, which we should still do that. I'll show you that really quickly when we finish up through our cheek here. So you kind of have to get on top of it like we were before with the quads, but you're going to get your inner thigh. It's like a weird angle. You got to get into your groin area and work along the inner thigh. I'll turn and face the other direction so you can see better. But you're going to work from the the inside of your knee. Okay? Start down at the knee here. And then you're going to work up the inside. And you really kind of get up and personal here. Okay? But be gentle, because this is a gentle, sensitive area too. And so, not one that we do a lot of, release to, and there's not a lot of pressure through that area, but it shouldn't be forgotten. We want to get into that inner thigh, and now I'm going to flip around and show you the other side, because the inner thigh gets a little forgotten about, but can cause you some issues if you're not paying attention to it. So, I'm going to get over it. Okay, we've got the roller down here by our knee, and I'm just rolling along the inside, starting from my knee and working up. And you'll feel that big, thick tendon of your adductors right in there. Just kind of roll in and out, nice and easy here. Take your time, work your way up, and you basically kind of get right in up towards your pubic bone. And so now you've kind of gone all the way around the hip. And we didn't take a ton of time for each one, and you could spend a little bit longer if you wanted to, but we kind of got all the way around the hip. We did a good job of releasing all that stuff. And then you can do it again tomorrow, so that it's not necessarily like, oh my God, that hurts so much, I don't want to do that ever again. It's like, okay, I went through it, I did a decent job, and let's hit it up again tomorrow, or maybe at the latest the next day, and you feel good about it. So We can hit the lats. Maybe I'll show you guys that at the end, but let's go ahead here and get on top of the roller and lay down with the roller lengthwise. And let's work a little bit here. We have some weights and we have some bands. Let's go tailbone on one edge and roll our spine down so your head is at the other end. We're gonna get hip distance apart. And let's just take a second, take a few inhale and exhales here. Make sure that you're feeling like you're nice and secure on the foam roller. Let's make sure we've got our breathing going, because God knows sometimes when I foam roll my body and I hit those tender spots, I'm not sure that I'm breathing as well as I should be. So get that three-dimensional breath going, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Get those rib cages to open up wide to the side and out the back of your body. They separate around that foam roller. In the process, with your exhale, you're letting yourself melt down onto that foam roller and feel like all your vertebrae are touching. We do have a little daylight down here. We have this neutral spine position going on the foam roller here, so that you have a little bit of daylight coming through. And check in, make sure your feet feel as close to parallel to your knees and your hips as possible. So we're gonna go with our breath here, grab a hold of our weights when you guys are ready. Let's reach our hands to the ceiling here. Take a nice reach here, and we're gonna do those little J scoops to reach a little farther. So the J scoop is coming from this underarm, and that's where we're starting from. We're gonna come around the tail of the J and then scoop to reach up. If that makes any sense. Like as if you had little pencils in your underarms and you were drawing a J and up and around. And then the shoulder blades come down. So you trace the tail, scoop around and lift. And this is all happening right under your underarms. We're working a muscle called serratus anterior. And it's a really important muscle for helping to stabilize your arms on your torso. But it's not really one you think very much about or talk about or even feel unless you really send your brain there. So even if the J doesn't make sense to you, just try and think about your underarms initiating the movement and it'll work. Good. And scoop. And scoop. Perfect. So we're going to take our hands down to our sides here and go palms up. And we're going to do these floor angels. So it's a half a snow angel. We're just going to work the upper body. And you're going to come around in this angel. And at some point, you're going to feel your hands come off the floor, and that's okay. And when you get to certain spots in that floor angel, I want you to go ahead and slow down and see if you can let yourself stay there for a breath or two. And then you can come up a little higher. And at some point, you're going to be airborne because your chest wall is just going to be tighter than what would permit your hands to reach that floor. And that's totally normal. Just make sure that when your hands are high, you're gently stretching through and you're staying connected in front of your rib cage. So let's do a few more. Let's work around that angel and stay with your stretch when you really feel like, whoo, that's a lot. Come down a little bit, it's okay. And come around. And then we're gonna head right into our arm circles. So start with your thumbs leading. We come up, we open, and circle our way around. So far we're just really working on the mobility of your shoulder blades on your chest wall. There's a lot going on here as far as keeping your shoulder blades stabilized. So if you're feeling like your shoulders are hiking up towards your ears, tap into that underarm area again and pull down on your underarms to pull your shoulders down. So all those muscles along your rib cage, go ahead and reverse your circles. They're going to help to pull down, out and around, and pull down. And let's go for 3, and 2, and the point, this is the last one, of us getting stretched out in the front is if you're really nice and mobile in the front, then we can get really strong in the back. And so if you have any neck issues and you need to strengthen that mid-back area, we need to make sure that this is nice and opened up first so that you can move freely in the back. If not, it feels like it's a tug of war. So you can hang on to your weights or you can put them to the side. We're gonna work a little bit on our dead bug. And I think let's just start with our hands on the floor, alternate just knee lifts. And as we alternate the knee lifts, I want you to feel like you're staying neutral, okay? And you're gonna lift and lower. And so you have these finger point contacts on the floor, holding on just for a little stability. And then let's add an arm, okay? Still with a fingertip on the floor, because we're on a moving surface. And you may just stay with this. Now, if you want to, try and work on no fingers on the floor. And just hold yourself steady as we dead bug our way through this. 2 more. No shame in keeping a fingertip on the floor if you need to. Stay steady. And last one. Perfect. Good, you guys. So let's go ahead from here and let's take ourselves off of the foam roller. Nice and easy. Just come on out of it. We're going to take the roller now and put it down towards our feet. We can ditch the weights for a moment. And let's start with our feet on the roller. So we're starting in our neutral spine and we have an unsteady surface underneath us. And I want you to just start roll out. I guess we also forgot to roll our calves earlier. We went all the way to the knee, but we never got to our calves. So of course, just thinking about it now, you can roll all the way along the back. And even the front of your shin, just stay on the soft parts. But calf length would be great to work on too. So we roll it out and we pull it back in with control here and just stretch it out to lengthen. Good. We're gonna bring it in. We're gonna come back to this, but keep it pulled in up underneath you now. And let's do our imprint and peel up. And roll down, roll through our imprint, and release out. So find a comfortable space for your feet on that roller and peel up and roll down. So you've got the imprint, you peel to lift, you roll it down. And peel to lift and roll it down. I really feel that in the back of my legs. Come on up and roll it down. One more. Imprint and peel and roll it down. Good. So let's send our legs out on the roller. And let's take our hands overhead. Okay, so our feet are on this unsteady surface. We're going to nod and reach. And we're going to fold forward. And as we fold forward, we're going to reach to our toes. And then we're going to roll down and roll all the way out. So the roller is just providing a little bit of compression to the back of your calves and right at your Achilles as you do your roll up and your roll back down. Good. Inhale. Exhale, draw your belly button deep to stretch. Inhale. And exhale your way down. And again. roll it down. Last one, reach and roll. And then roll it down and come on down. Now we're gonna take our roller, and you knew it wasn't gonna be a day unless we did our 100. You guys are gonna love this. We're gonna take our roller and grab it between our feet and our knees. So just be careful that forward, you don't hit your face into the roller. So we're gonna squeeze a hold of it, and we're gonna come up for our 100, okay? So let's nod and reach, hang on to it. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and squeeze, 2, 3, 4, 10, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and squeeze, 2, 3, 4, 20, abs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and squeeze, 2, 3, 4, 30, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and X, 2, 3, 4, 40, abs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and squeeze, 2, 3, 4, 50, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and X, 2, 3, 4, 60, abs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 70, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and squeeze, 2, 3, 4, 80, deep abs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 90, last 10, and out, 2, 3, 4, 100. Good, just set your head down, set your feet down, and grab a hold of your roller. Good job, you guys. I hope that was okay for you. It's a little awkward up in that position, but I'm sure you guys did a great job. So let's come to sitting. Okay, and this is where we can find our sit bones. We're gonna pull our cheeks out from underneath us, send our legs either straight in front of us, legs straight, knees bent, or sitting crisscross. We're gonna grab the ends of the roller. So you're not even really holding it, you're just pushing your palms into it. And we're gonna turn for a twist. 2, 3, center it up, and twist, 2, 3, and center, and X, 2, 3, and center, and switch, 2, 3. Come tall, and center, and X, 2, 3. Grow tall, and X, 2, 3, center it up, and X, 2, 3. One more time. It's X, 2, 3. Push it to your palms, and X, 2, 3. Come to center. Okay, so we are going to do our spine stretch forward, still hanging on to our foam roller. Find your sit bones again, just in case you got a little round in your low back. And then we're gonna peel to round forward and reach the roller to our toes. Stack it up and peel, push into the roller for 1, 2, 3, stack it up. And 1, 2, 3, stack it up. So you nod to peel and reach, 2, 3, stack it up, and toes to the ceiling as you reach for 3. Good, one more time. We're gonna reach, 2, 3, and stack it up. Good, now here is the fun part. We are gonna go to our knees and our hands, and we're gonna try and get this roller to balance down the center of our backs. Okay, this is always fun because the juggle is to keep the roller on our backs. So you're gonna center it right down the center of your spine, and you're gonna hold yourself nice and still here, okay? So we're in our tabletop position. Your head should be touching the back of your roller, and the roller should be all the way down touching your tailbone. If you're symmetrical or pretty close, because nobody's really symmetrical, the roller should stay in place. So here's the trick. Can you move and not let the roller roll off? And it's gonna roll off, and that's okay. But let's start with arm raises. Hold that roller. Good. So this is a work in stability against the movement of your arms and legs. So you're trying to hang onto that roller and alternate leg reaches. And you can feel it jiggle a little on your back, but you're trying to keep the roller stuck in the valley of your spine. And the beauty of this is that it really shows you where your head should be relative to your spine, because your head should stay touching it. Now sometimes it'll slide a little, so I'm going to carefully push it back up. Good. And then we're going to try to alternate leg lifts and slide it in. And you got to take your time to reach. And then that happens. It falls off. And that's okay, because that just tells you that you're twisting a little bit when you go to lift the leg. So you put that roller back on. I sometimes do this with therapy patients, and it makes them bananas, but just sort of focus in, take your time, reach to lift. When you get into your groove, keep on going, support through the abs, and hold that roller steady. I don't know, maybe it's just me who finds it so hard, but I think in general, it's a challenge to keep it still. All right, let's get crazy. I don't even know if I can do it, but let's see if we can go arm and leg. Bring it in and switch. So slowly weight shift and reach and lower. The roller will certainly slow you down to focus on your form and your posture. Good. Let's just do a couple more. Hopefully I can keep this roller on. Yep. And once it starts falling off, look out. It keeps falling off. Let's do 2 more here. Good. Alternate. Oh, let's see. Arm and leg. I'm going to do 1 more. Good. And then let's take it off. Wow. Good job, you guys. I hope you found that as fun and challenging as I did. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I want to put this roller in your underarm, okay? Just into your underarm. And then keep most of your weight into your legs and your feet. And you're going to carefully, this is like my one exception of, like, I'll say don't roll over anything bony. You're gonna roll your lat, okay? And your lat runs along the side of your body, but you might feel your ribs a little bit here. And you know, most of us don't have huge lats, maybe some of us do, but you roll into that underarm. As it attaches to your arm, you could even kind of get the back of your shoulder in there and lean into the back edge of your shoulder and get your rotator cuff, which could feel really good. And we're gonna stretch and get our lat. And then we're gonna sort of bypass the real ribby parts. And then we're gonna roll in that soft area right between the bottom of our rib angles and the top of our hip crest, and just release out there, because that's about how far that lat will come down and attach into the fascia of our back. So we're gonna get that lat, and then let's change sides just to be symmetrical. We'll get the other side. Start in your underarm area. Go easy, keep most of your weight into your feet and your legs, and just sort of work along the very side back of your rib cage. Stay off the real bony edges of the ribs, because that might not feel so great. And then lean into the back of the shoulder a little bit to get that rotator cuff. And then you're gonna hop down, skip over the real bony ribby parts, and then we're gonna get that area right between the soft area between your rib angles and your hip crest. And just work through there. Perfect. And just hop onto that crest and come on back up. Good. So let's take our roller. We're going to lay down on our back now. And we're going to grab a hold of the roller and just put it under the fleshy part of your butt, okay? And then you're gonna lift one leg up at a time. So it's not in your low back, it's really into your butt here and up underneath you. And you can hang on to it. Just set your hands on it. And we're gonna reach for our bicycle. So the roller's actually getting us into our abs just a little bit more. And we hang on to it and we reach. And we reach, and we reach, and we reach. And then we're gonna do more of a real bicycle. So we're gonna kind of pedal our way more into like a flutter here as opposed to a set of scissors. And we're gonna go forward, and then we're gonna scoop and go backwards. And let's go 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And we're gonna come up. All right, we're gonna hold our hips steady. You're gonna let one leg fall out, come to center, hang on, other leg, and center. So remember, this is up on the hips and the butt, not in your low back. You drop, and you drop, and you're controlling your pelvis from dropping off to the side with your leg. And you drop. And then we're gonna do circles, up and around, and down and around. Good. And around. So the roller now is acting sort of as a prop. We have these little arc barrels in the studio, and they can act as this prop. It gives you just a little help, because these are more like advanced exercises. Let's do one more, just to get you up there with a little support. Very good. Let's just slowly set ourselves down. Gonna send that roller away and bring yourself back on down to the floor. We're gonna turn over to our stomach. We're gonna put the roller now up in front of us. And I want you to lay down on your stomach and really stretch to push it out. You can bend your elbows in, neutralize your spine. I want you to stretch and lift and come on back down. So we start with a bent elbow. As we lengthen out the elbows, we bring our head up to our bottom rib and pull down. We inhale up to reach. Pull it back down. Inhale, reach, and pull it down. And inhale, reach, and pull it down. 2 more. So we're getting in our breaststroke. And pull it down. Just looks a little different with the roller. Mix it up a little bit. And pull it back down. Good. Now let's stretch out arms and legs. And we're going to keep our hands on the roller and lift legs. And lift, and lift, and lift. And then come up to your bottom rib. Eyes hover. Hands are supported on the roller. Neutralize that spine. And lift, and lift, and lift, and lift. 3 more. Last one. Good. Go ahead and push back into your shell stretch. But when you go to reach your arms out, again, roll those arms away. Palms are on your roller. Belly button to spine. Draw in with your inhale. Stretch out with your exhale. And then this time, take your right hand, feed it through your left underarm, and turn and look your eyes through your underarm too. Keep your left hand supported on the roller and stretch across that right shoulder blade and mid-back. And then we're going to quickly switch hands, thread the left under the left underarm, turn your head that way, look your eyes out, and stretch out that left shoulder blade and left mid-back. Good. And then we're going to come on over and hop to our back again. Okay, so let's go ahead, lay down on our back here. We're going to grab our roller. We're going to go back to what looked like that 100 again. So we've got our inner ankles and our inner knees holding it. And we're going to pop up for a roll-up prep. Okay, if that makes you nervous, just put the roller a little farther away from your face and pop your knees up. And lift your back from the floor. 3 more. Reach your fingertips along the length of the mat. 2 and 1. Good. So from here, you can take a little breather. We're going to keep our legs up in this tabletop holding our roller, and we're going to rotate right to center and left to center and right, center, and left, center. Good, you guys. And rotate and center. And you can try it with your hands off the floor too, like reach to your hundreds arms and center and rotate. Now I am really feeling my inner thighs here, so I hope that's working for you too. Good. Let's do 1 more. Rotate, center, and rotate, center. Good. Take a little breather. You can set your feet back down onto the floor. Let's keep the roller just between the knees, okay? And let's do our hip lift. Great. Or we call it our shoulder bridge. Hip lift, shoulder bridge. I think they're virtually the same. And set our hips down. And lift and lower. So we rolled up in the beginning with the roller under our feet, and this time we're just coming straight up with our hips, setting them back down, and now the roller is between our knees. Good. Good. And lift. Great. Let's do 2 more. Now hold it up and squeeze the roller. 10, 9, 8, wrap those glutes. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down and lift it back up. Wrap up the glutes, dimple them in and squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And set it down. 1 more time. Bring it up, wrap, and squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And set it down. Good, you guys. Let's take this and come and sit on top of it again. So we're going to put our sit bones right up on top of it, okay? We're going to take our hands behind our head. We're going to just roll back and sit bones. Come behind our sit bones, come up on our sit bones. Come behind our sit bones, come up on our sit bones. So we get round to roll, we come up. It's probably like 3-inch movement at the most, and sit, and round, and sit. What I like about this is that this is the initiating movement for our neck pull. And come up. You get that stretch in the low back, you find your sits. Stretch to roll and sits, stretch to roll and sit. So let's go ahead and for 1 moment, get rid of the foam roller and then roll back for our neck pull, come forward, stack it up, roll back. It's the same thing we were doing with that foam. A little harder, clearly, because we're going a little farther into the motions, but the initiation movements are exactly the same. We round and roll, we rock, we come up. Round and roll, rock, come on up, 2 more. Round and roll, rock, come on up. Last time, rock, and come on up. Good. Good job, you guys. Let's take this, come back on down to the floor. One more time. Legs give a hug. And we're gonna grab our roller here. And we're gonna just work on our lift and come down. And lift and come down. So we're starting our teaser, reaching and coming down. We reach to lift and we come down. And you can see I've gotten higher up as I've gone from practice. Reach to lift, and that one was not so great, but you reach to lift and come down. Reach to lift. One more time. This is tough, you got it. And come down. Good. Let's go ahead and we can put this aside now and turn on over to our side here. And let's grab a hold of our side bend and let's do the bent knee version. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the straight leg version. We're gonna come up and over and look at how nice you open up after you rolled out all those areas and come down and come up and over. Smooth as can be. And come on up and over. And come down. And then when you're ready, come on full length and come down. And let's add a twist. We're gonna come up, twist, and open, and twist, and open for 3, and 2, and 1. And come around and come on down. And then we'll switch to the other side. We'll start with our bent knee, work up to our straight leg. So again, come up to that knee. Oh, that feels so much different after rolling everything out. And good. Come on over. Open that rib cage from your hips and come on down. And then we can stretch it out to full legs. Come on down. One more. And then we're gonna add our 5 twists and come on down. And then we're gonna come on up and we're gonna twist to reach and look and twist and look and 3. Take your time, twist with caution. 2 and 1 and set yourself back down. All right, guys, let's go ahead from here. Let's get ourselves back onto hands and knees here. We're gonna take our roller back into the equation. We're gonna put ourselves in an unstable hand supported position, curl our toes up underneath us and do our knee lift. Okay? We lift and come down and lift and come down. Good. Now when you're ready, let's shoot it out to our plank and come down. And down and reach and down. Let's go 4 more. Whether you're from your knees or full legs. Good. That's it. And hold it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set your knees down. We're gonna stay here. And we're actually, we're gonna stand up. And we're going to incorporate our roller into our push-up. So we're going to take our roller between our hands and lift it up over our head and reach. Okay? As our hands come down with the roller, we're going to peel our way down. Okay? We're going to set the roller on the floor just up underneath us, and we're going to walk out in front of it. Okay? We're going to do our 1, 2, 3 push-ups. Walk our way back in. When we get in, peel ourselves up, hanging onto our roller again. Good. We're going to bring this roller over our head again. Come up to our tips. Come down. Come up to our tips. Good. And let's go 4, 3, 2. Really stretch your fingertips to the ceiling. 1. And then sit and reach the roller right up at shoulder height. Sit into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We come up nice and tall. Good. Hands come up. Reach it up. Stay connected in your rib cage. Now, as your hands come down, your head follows the roller. You peel yourself down to reach for the floor. You drop your roller down. We walk our way. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do our push-ups for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk our way back. As you get there, grab a hold of that roller. Peel your way up. Awesome. Good. Hands overhead. Reach to the ceilings. High heels for 5. Really come up. Slow and controlled for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your hands to shoulder height and sit back in your chair and count it out from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come up nice and tall again. And that, today, is your foam roller mat Pilates class. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was fun and interesting and challenging.